So I think mid-level leaders should care about driving cultural change within such a time frame like 90 days, is because in this position, we have a quarter to diagnose, take action, and deliver a product in a way that can help create specific change. The longer we take, the less time or the less impact that we may have anything beyond that. And plus, the 90 days help us scopes down, not just from a time perspective, from a tactic perspective too. So tactically, we can know what specific things we need to change in the greater scheme of the strategy that we're working to. Culture is such a nebulous, really hard thing to define as shift and changes. So there are roles for us as middle managers to say, if we want people to feel like they belong, if we want people to feel like their voice is valued and heard, it has meaning in the workspace, it's going to be really difficult to say, hey, do you feel like you belong? Do you feel like you can thrive? But tangibly, if you are asking a team member, do you have clarity in what task is being asked of you in this workspace? Do you have clarity in communication of what is expected of you? Do you have understanding or purview to what the goals and structures are that is needed for you to feel successful in your work? Do you see how your work is tying to the greater strategy? Those are clear questions that help somebody identify whether or not their contributions matter to the organizational space. So, as leaders, if we can look at our tactics and look at what people are saying and what people are needing, the short time turnaround of 90 days allows us to quickly assess and take action with our particular actions to make success. And over time, those could be indicators that can impact the organizational culture in a stronger way. So we want to anchor this in real action. Transparency is one of the key indicators as a leader that staff members often see. Nobody wants to work in a black box. Nobody wants to work in a space where they don't understand fully how their work is contributing to the organizational goals and tactics. So being a leader that is creating that level of transparency allows folks to feel connected to the work and connected to the outcomes that we are striving towards within that strategy, right? So each week, as a mid-level leader, if you are running these team expectations alignments, you can do this during your daily huddles or weekly huddles, where you are gathering your team to collectively and asking them, letting them know what's going on organizationally. You're talking about the work that is happening on the ground or day to day. And then you're constantly prioritizing and helping make shifts and changes based upon what you know is happening across the teams, across the division, across the organization. And having these expectations alignments allows the team to know what is expected of them when they are looking at the work, prioritizing the work, or executing the work. So as you as a leader are creating this space where everybody gets to share what their priorities are, you as a leader are sharing what the goals are, then you can map specifically what success looks like. You can map specifically what should be put on the back burner or set off to the side for ongoing expectations and work. So as example, me and my team, we do have these daily huddles on a regular basis. We have conversations where we talk about what's going on organizationally from a leadership lens, and then the team gets to share what they're working through and prioritizing too. And every once in a while, we do have a course correct conversation or a encouragement conversation to say, yes, what you're working towards is helping move the organizational forward, or what was just asked of you is no longer a priority anymore. So let's shift that to a different space, new quarter, new week, new lens, and then put our emphasis on what the organization is asking all of our teams to do so we can stay aligned and in the pocket for success. So this week, do try that alignment. Do take the moment to where you're setting a regular rhythm and cadence where the team knows they can come to bring their tactics, their problems, their work, and you are coming with the structure, the strategy, the prioritization, and you're having a dialogue collectively as a group to say what alignment looks like and what is expected of them to execute that alignment related to scope of work, timelines, deadlines, who you're working with, how you're working with them, what barriers that they have, the status of those execution efforts, whether they're on track or needing some support. Creating a space where you can specifically talk about those things are very beneficial so people know how they're executing and how their work is tying to the greater work. So this week, make that opportunity to create the space. Ask a team what they need to be successful. Share with them what success looks like from your lens. And then every week that you have this dialogue, always circle back to say, hey, how is this going? Is this working to meet your needs? What more do you need? Or being specific to say, this is what I need from you so that the success can happen for you and your teams. Now, a key thing to think about this is you might be doing this particular work and then asking yourself, okay, this sounds good, but what does success look like? Like, how do I know this is working? And I would love to take a moment to process that with you, because sometimes we could do all this fantastic strategic work, infrastructure work, but you get right down to it and you don't necessarily know whether or not that work is truly successful. So what are some measurements? So what are some signals that will help you identify real quick whether or not your team alignment meetings are guiding to what your success looks like? So number one, if your team is still not prioritizing the work that the organization is asking for, then you might need to make some course correct. If you find that the team is always asking what the importance of this initiative is and why this is important, you need to bring the why to them. If you are noticing that your organizational strategies, the numbers or metrics that are tied to your biggest organizational strategy, whether it is retention, whether it is a certain product being executed at a certain time, or whatever key performance indicator that you are organizationally focusing on as a group, and you're bringing that to the team saying, hey, we are below, we're at average, we're above average, taking those metrics, being able to identify what are the particular lead metrics or lead tactics that can align to that allows the team to know whether or not you're successfully aligned, and they can see why. Other key way to see if it's indicating any success is if the people who have the skill sets and tactics to execute that work are focusing on that particular task. If you have somebody who is really skillful in a way a budget is built, but you got them communicating a strategy and that might be out of alignment to them, you might find some disconnect or decrease in speed unless you're focusing on developing that team member. But if you're trying to put the right people doing the right work, you have to have those specific conversations of what success looks like for them, what you expect of them, what's a stretch goal for them, and finding the right tactics to align to that work that could give them the feeling of, okay, we're seeing an increase of production or a speed that we haven't seen before, because you have the right person focusing on the right task and you get the right person communicating on the right task. And it all is building towards meeting the KPI that organizationally we're focusing to execute. Run the alignment, practice these sessions. Let me know what your thoughts are at Ray Devante on all social media platforms. Subscribe to the Leaders Lens newsletter and catch out the next video where we get to talk through some specific tactics that you're asking to help execute your goals.